Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to another Poem Master video. And you gotta remember, I think 2 or 3 days ago, right? It's been a few days. We checked out an article on Gamepress about Marnie, right? Their SYP article, right? And it was pretty funny. Gotta say, definitely did not agree with a lot of the stuff that they mentioned in there. I think like there's like a huge like emphasis on like you need like 2 out of 5 Marnies so you could get like the sync move decrease on like propulsion on snack time to make her good or something. They rarely mentioned her damage, all that stuff. And yeah, again I did not really agree with that. Made out to sound like a very mediocre to potentially maybe even bad unit, right? Which again, I don't think is the case personally, right? So, anyways, what happened after that is the site lead for Gamepress, which I've talked with before, right? Actually, great guy. Contacted me and asked for actually did thank me for like the feedback and stuff and like he's really like I really like this guy's attitude, like a pretty good attitude. Like he really values these sort of like constructive criticisms or whatever, which is really nice. And then he went over and revised the article and requested or asked if I want to go over it again, and I'd say why not, right? I mean, again, I really do like this sort of attitude, going back and correcting some stuff when some people sometimes point out and all that. And so why not give it another chance? Let's give it another chance. Let's see how this one goes, right? So all right, let's go over it again then. Marnie Morpeko, I don't remember what the initial score was. I think it was still 4 out of 6. I don't. It doesn't matter. I mean, like I mentioned in the first video, like I don't think this is like a good banner to pull on per se. Just because like you got Leon's banner still happening at the moment, and then you could always get her on a rerun, which could potentially be better, right? But I mean, I don't really care about if you should or not pull for her right now. But anyways. Moving on, let's start with this powerful damage dealer in its own right. Oh, well, that's finally they did acknowledge her damage on hopefully power trip, which that's a good start. That's a good start, right? But arguably a niche tech unit in the sense that it requires more support to shine than being easily thrown into other typical team builds. I heavily still disagree with this. Marnie Morpeko is one of like the more like it's much easier to throw into like that's the whole point why I think she's really good, because inexpensive 2-gauge spam, really good speed, and she could basically give herself all the stat buffs that she needs, right? Almost all, right? And if you throw it into like another comp with, you could basically throw it into like a comp with like any other striker, literally any other striker. And it, like, okay, maybe not like, okay, you don't want to like throw it in with like a heavy like weather and like another damage deal that leads like a lot of investment team comp, maybe not like a Mallow or something, right? But like most other strikers, you could just easily throw her in and then bring one support, right? Best case scenario, you bring a support that that boosts both, fills both Marnie and that other striker's needs, or you could just throw her into a comp with another striker that doesn't really need any supports, right? Like for example, Marnie is a really great example of this, because if you're looking at what team comps you want to run her in, right? She's a dark type damage dealer. That's obviously the best place you want to use it on, is like a dual striker, dark type, right? And if you're looking at the main dark type damage dealers in the game, Mega Houndoom and Mightyena, right? These are the 2 big options. Both of them can max out their special attack for Houndoom, physical attack for Mightyena, as well as their crits without bringing in any supports, right? They literally do not need any supports. You could just run Morpeko beside them, and then if you want, you could bring in like a tank that also maybe gives Morpeko some extra stats to max out power trip or whatever, and you're pretty much good to go. You're pretty much good to go, right? So I still heavily disagree with that point. Moving on, better and cheaper options exist and a supportive capacity. In terms of support, I don't know what they mean by that, because Marnie's not a support. Nietzsche's not a support. Unless they're talking about like the tech thing with like Thundershock and the paralysis and flinch, which is true. There are definitely better. Like you could do Luxray for that, right? Instead. I mean, you could still do it with Marnie. It's still really, really good with Marnie. It's just like, why would you do that when you could just like deal insane amounts of damage with Marnie instead, right? Says ridiculously strict gem competitions on its debut offering. That's fair, right? Heavy dependence on that. I disagree with that still. Expensive investment. I also kind of disagree with that. High damage cap. That's true, I guess. Moving on. What does it do? Marnie Morpeko is a niche character. I really do not know why they are making her like sound niche or whatever, right? Oh well. Anyways, to the likes of Willen, Zatu, and Bianca's and Musharna. In place of the latter, do a stored power, gets power trip. Yep. Power boost in hangry mode. The niche. A power one for. What? And store power trip makes their niche. I don't think they understand what niche means. What? Anyways, okay, whatever. The gimmick that is Hunger Switch is more of a hindrance, since Morpeko cannot. It's not a hindrance. Like, no. I also disagree with this one. I don't think it's a hindrance. It's a boost. It's a boost because it literally boosts your damage by 50% when you're in hangry mode, right? Cause like, let's see. By the way, I haven't read through this yet. This is my first time reading through it on camera, right? Cannot choose to stay in the mode that best suits its intentions. With Morpeko switching modes with each move, power trip loses that tasty. Well, this is a glass half empty, glass half full, right? I mean, you could say it loses the 1.5 times boost, or you could say it gains a 1.5 times boost every other turn, right? Players get that by alternating between power trip and aura. I disagree, but this results in never mind. Looks like I agree. They also point to that as well. Yeah, it's almost just better just spamming power trip instead of going back to aura wheel. All right, here's the thing. So when you're in full belly mode, right, you don't get the 1.5 times boost on power trip. However, without the 1.5 times boost, you still hit very, 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 very hard with that power trip, right? You still hit like almost as much as like Mighty is like full boosted crunch, right? Which is still like a lot, right? You do more than, let's say, let me look up some examples. I think you do more than, let's see, 1.2. Yeah, for example, you do more than Evoltal's Oblivion Wing, which is still, a 4-gauge move, right? You do more than let's see, I don't know, Metagross is these are low bars. I mean, Metagross is not really known for that much damage, right? Like there's still like, you still out damage like so many other things in this game, right? Like or a fully boosted Lycanroc as well, right? That's another one, the Olivia, right? So yeah, it still does a lot of damage. What the heck? I really don't think it's like much of a hindrance or whatever. It still does a ton of damage, even with that being considered, right? Anyways, let's see. The limitations of Hunger Switch also indirectly affects Morpeko's otherwise admirable value as a dedicated dark type sweeper. Yeah, no, I still just like even if you like let's say let's do okay. You could do the math like this, right? It's it's a 1.5 times boost every other turn, so that's average of a 1.25 time boost per turn, right? So that's still 650k, which is more than like a fully boosted Gardevoir's Moonblast, right? It's more than it's almost as much as Houndoom's fully boosted Dark Pulse. Not as much, but almost there, right? Let's see, 650. It's more than, I don't know, Under Rain Mega Blastoise's Hydro Cannon. More than, I don't even know what this is. Oh, Sharpedo's fully boosted Under Rain's Liquidation. Like a lot of things. Like, it still outdamages like a majority of the units in this game. Yeah, Garchomp's single target Earthquake. Mega Glade's Focus Blast, right? Yeah. I disagree. Anyways, moving on. Regardless of its form, Morpeko is still classified as Electric type Pokemon. True, meaning that I cannot utilize Dark type Sync move like Karen or Halloween Hilbert dedicated to Star. Oh, yes. This is true. Morpeko's Sync move is still Electric type, so you're not going to get super effective against Dark types or Dark Weak units, right? However, Morpeko's neutral, non-super effective Sync nuke still does more damage than a super effective Karen or Halloween Hilbert Sync nuke. That's with Haymaker Sync nuke with Halloween Hilbert. It does more than them, even if it's not super effective. Anyways, moving on. Players looking to run Morpeko as a power trip abuser will find that it really depends on external speed support and crit rate buffs to a lesser extent to be anywhere near efficient. Okay, bring a speed support then. I don't know what's the big deal? There's so many fantastic speed supports in this game, like Xerneas, you got Alakazam, Meganium, Skyla, Roxanne's really good, honestly. Very, very underrated in my opinion. Like, there's so many. Singsu Blue, right? These issues of team dependency are really what cost more on ratings compared to Singsu Red and Alder, which were just any decent support technique. Guess what? You could put Marnie into a team with Singsu Red or Alder, and it'll completely work, right? This issue rears its head in Champions Jam where players need 5 separate teams. This means players cannot use their gridded Samurott if they have it on or Swanna on every single team. Yeah, but you have multiple. That's why there's multiple great supports that could, do that. And again, technically Marnie can get all those on her own. It's not optimal. It's not great. But the amount of supports is, I think they're way exaggerating the amount of support she needs. Like in my opinion, probably the most optimal way to go about this is just to bring a support with +1 crit and either +2 speed or +2 attack. There's plenty of units that could do that. Plenty of units, like Torchic, give you +1 speed, or not +2 or +4 attack in Torchic's case, and then +4 or +2 crit. What else? Medicham could these aren't even really good supports. These are low-ish tier support like Medicham, Torchic. These are not even that great, right? Again, not to mention stuff like Singsu Blue, Meganium, Sabrina, all those, right? Hilbert, this and that. Anyways, there's much less flexibility and more. I don't know. Plus, I already read that part. This problem is especially pressing for newer players without the luxury of roster depth. Also, Xerneas is another one, right? Thus, actually, well, Xerneas actually doesn't. Never mind. Thus, Morpeko falls just short of breaking 5 on the newly amended scoring skill. I don't know much about their scoring skill, so I can't really comment about that. Sword Power Trip, efficient. I don't know what this word means. Might find them more accessible. Bianca and Musharna are better candidates since Unova Sync Pair offers a lot more team utility and is more independent. Actually, I don't think that's true. And you know, I love Musharna. Musharna is fantastic, but yeah, she does not have. Wait, literally, Musharna literally needs more support. You only get +8 on her own, right? You get 0 crit, and you don't max out your special attack. And then Morpeko, you get up to, you know, +6 speed, even though, you know, you don't want to do that. So let's say +2 speed, I don't know, +6 attack. That's already 8, by the way. +2 crit. Like, like, Musharna literally needs more support. Okay, whatever. Better candidates. Also, again, I do think Musharna is fantastic unit. It does a lot of other things, right? It's a great tank, all that stuff. Also, you know, helps your team out at Psychic Terrain, which is fantastic as well. Doesn't sync nuke, unfortunately. I mean, it does, but it's like not really good. Plus, there's better options. You could use Mute, which is a fantastic option over there, right? But isn't like Musharna's team comp literally more restrictive though? It's literally more restrictive, like outside of those Psychic type units, right? Like you really, and I'm not even saying it's restrictive because I don't think it is restrictive, but like in comparison to Morpeko, it is though. Anyways, whatever. Morpeko needs a luxury to set up Electric Train if it wants to maximize its sync damage. True, but you also don't like need to. But yeah, sure. As is the case with Hilbert Samurott, not everyone has Volkner, or even if they do, would have to at least one duplicate Morpeko power trip nodes. Like you don't need it's honestly for Morpeko, you either go for 1 out of 5 or 3 out of 5, right? I don't think there's any point going for 2 out of 5 Morpeko. I don't know why they obsess over 2 out of 5 Morpeko for that much. Which can turn Morpeko into an expensive investment. I do not like. I don't know why they want that one dupe for Morpeko. Morpeko gets like nothing at 2 out of 5. Like you really don't get much out for 2 out of 2 out of 5. You get 2 power trip nodes and 1 move gauge refresh for power trip, which again is nice, but like you definitely do not. It's only like it's +1. All of it, obviously, it gets multiplied by a lot of the multipliers, but like, yeah, like outside of that, get staggering with Thundershock, which again, they've even mentioned it's not that great, right? In comparison to like some other options, and then like none of this, like no one cares about any of this over here, right? Anyways, moving on as a 1 out of 5 or 2 out of 5. 5-star tech unit. Morpeko is probably best used as secondary striker and 2-star core. True. Well, not technically striker, but yeah. Power chip cheat move costs allows players to quickly burn through the sync countdown. While a primary striker assumes sync duties. Why would the primary striker assume sync duties when Morpeko takes more damage? Anyways, of course, as a tech unit, players with the perfect setup can run Morpeko's extremely high damage cap sync nigger instead. Okay, there it is. Thanks to the inertia and static shock on syncer, as well as Hangry Wild Charge's inherent damage boost against paralyzed targets. However, the importance of that boost creates the need to either rely on RNG through hostile environment, bolster Thundershock. It's 50%. Okay, whatever. I mean, it's 50. Oh, it's not even 50%. It's hostile environment 5. How much is that, by the way? Let me see. Times 1 plus. Oh, it's 60%. Whatever. Face stiff competition from N as a chief electric type unit. I mean, if you're running Sync Nuke Morpeko, the total damage output you do from Morpeko is higher than N's. But whatever. moving on. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's not as good in full. Yeah, this is actually kind of fair. It's not that great in full first battles, I guess. The first set of Morpeko's damage. Should I? I'll check the grid. Let's see what it is. All right. This is power trip with inertia, right? I think this is inertia, right? Yeah, that's inertia. What's the speedy entry? Okay. So no static shock 3 and no sync node power ups. I don't know why you're going for speedy entry. What's their team comp? Whoops. Let me. First damage up with power trip. Eye towards increasing multipliers for sync move. Investment is much better for charge efficiency. Proper speed should drop. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Oh, this is super fair. Okay. I don't know why you wouldn't just like pick up. Do you not have enough? You would have enough if you just drop these stat nodes and drop this like Thundershock power up node. You can still pick up super preparation over here. The second setup is better designed for 2-star cores, boosting fast synergy, Karen's Mega Houndoom, dirty fighting, foul fighting's pair. Oh, come on. Okay. All right. Here's the thing. If you want to run Morpeko's Paraflinch, you basically almost always have like you don't have many opportunities to use Power Strip, right? Because flinch, it expires at a relatively faster pace, right? And it's just much better just to focus on Power Trip, since it just does more damage. But it's okay, I guess, right? As dedicated Power Trip sweeper, the best support options would be those that maximize Morpeko's attacks, being critical rate and the least amount of moves. That's true. Hilbert's got a speed boost, can kickstart side with Aura Wheel. English attack time. Hilbert's Synchrodex crit defense in the mix. Later accumulates slower. A ladder accumulates slower, while Skyla offers defense boost and potion with its cheap sync countdown, burner and gust. Last slot if you're running like Hilbert, you're also like buffing the whole team's speed by 4, so at least 4. As well as a move gauge refresh on defense, crush, shadow punch. But who's that? Oh, Phoebe, right? Oh, Dustmore, yeah. Vulcan, on the other hand, helps improve the odds of securing paralysis, and provides electric train support for Morpeko's sync move. Yeah, this is fine. This is all true, right? In terms of lucky skills, Morpeko does well with multiple options. I think they didn't really change this. I mean, I don't remember. This was fine last time, right? Oh, except for Powerflux. I don't agree. Like, there's not that many units with vigilance. And plus, like, as a sync nuker, you definitely want the crit strike to have it proc on sync. Anyways, moving on. Players who really desire Power Trip consider the much more readily available Bianca Musharna, who's more flexible and easily. Yeah, again, like I mentioned before, don't agree with that. Likewise, Morpeko isn't necessarily the game's best. It literally is the game's best, though, or most self-sufficient sync nuker. Okay. Morpeko does more damage on her sync nuke than Hydreigon. She just does. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, right? The only scenario where Morpeko does less than Hydreigon's sync nuke would be if Morpeko, let me see, if the opponent, I can't find it anymore, but yeah, you know what, give me a second, let me just find the numbers first. All right, I found the numbers. So the only way where Marnie Morpeko does not output damage Hydreigon sync nuke is either if you don't get the super preparation proc, right? If you don't get super preparation, then Marnie does less. Or if you get super preparation, but you don't have electric terrain, which again, if you're trying to sync nuke with Marnie, you kind of want electric terrain up, right? And they again, like Hydreigon, still fantastic sync nuke damage, right? Even if again at the most it does less than Marnie, but I think it's still like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know if Mallow does more, Hydreigon does more, but it's either like the second or third highest over here, right? But Hydreigon also has like the same issue with Mallow, where it's incredibly hard to set up, right? Because you need the opponent to have -6 attack and -6 physical and -6 special attack, right? Which you can only get like -3 in like one sync cycle. So you need like 2 sync cycles to completely set it up for the maximum damage output there. Whereas Marnie, you could set it up in the first sync cycle. Like your first sync cycle, you get like the maximum amount of damage on your sync move, pretty easily, right? So I don't know what they mean by this, unless they didn't go over the numbers. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, or maybe they forgot about like super preparation, or forgot about electric train, one of those. Anyways, however, it's offering offering of 2 powerful strategies that make Marnie worth pulling, albeit at a significant cost. Again, I don't know if she's like worth pulling at the moment or not, but whatever. The operational requirements of Power Trip and Paralyzed Sync Boost means that Morpeko relies on hefty investments for it to truly shine. The reliance on a second duplicate. I don't know why it's either you're going for the third dupe or you're just going for one copy. Anyways, or do you mean like second duplicate? Like, okay, okay, maybe the second duplicate they mean like 3 out of 5, because like the 2 out of 5 is first duplicate, 3 out of 5 is second duplicate, I guess. Yeah, they did mention sync, but yeah, you know what? My bad. I think I misread that. A luxury on her initial release set, she's pit against the fellow heavy hitters Gloria Leon, which, by the way, she outdamages both of these. Not Leon though. Well, I mean, in total, with if you account for her sync move damage, she does, right? It does more than Leon sync, but like Leon's Inferno does do more than Power Chip, right? Likewise, access of 6 REX to sync Power Boost is also painfully expensive for players with limited resources. It's a really, really good investment, though, of all of those. When blessed with the perfect setup, Morpeko hits harder and ramps up faster than Musharna does, but she demands equally expensive and very specific support crew to get there. Yeah, but so does Musharna! And it's really not, like, just, there's a lot of units in this game. For example, like, Mallow, to utilize for her full potential, you need 3 teammates, 3 extra teammates, which obviously you can't have, but like you need 2 other supports to like fully utilize it. Like there's a lot of units like that, right? But like with Marnie and with Musharna as well, right? I don't know why they think like Musharna's not expensive either. Like 1 more extra support is fine, right? With Musharna, if you throw in like a Sabrina, like you're good with that, right? And Marnie, with all the other options that I've listed, throw in 1 and then she's fine, right? It's just I disagree. It's not expensive at all. Like, you could use 3 units in your team. Just like use 1 slot for like a support. Then you need to dedicate an entire team around her for. No, you don't have to dedicate. The whole point, in why I think Morpeko is good, is you could just easily just throw the little hamster into like any other team, and then it could work, right? Oh well. All right, cool. Again, there are some things that I'd say that they definitely improved. Again, I do really applaud them for looking at either feedback, criticism, or whatever, right, and revising stuff. Even though again the end result, I still can't say I really agree with a lot, but there are like some points that they did mention that I think that they maybe missed the first time around, right? For example, they almost completely neglected her damage capacities first time around, and now they did mention that, so that's cool, I guess. But anyways, yeah, that's me. This one, I guess. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me guys think in the comments down below. Like me with this video, start travel, some more Masters content. I'll see you guys in the next one.